Sometimes you're the one who says what everybody else is thinking, but they're afraid to say it. Lord, really, how many times do we have to forgive our brother? All right, we're all thinking that. But Peter actually has the nerve to say it. You know, and the Lord looks and says, not 70 times 7. And that's when you turn around and go, yeah, come on, you know. Never, Lord, this will never happen to you. That was Peter who said that. But you were there too, right? You were standing in the back and you're thinking to yourself, no, he should not go to the cross. But leave it to Peter. He's the first person to say it. And so in a lot of ways, Peter has some of our characteristics. But there is one night, like Merkel, one night that would go down forever in Peter's mind, and it was the night that Peter denied Jesus. And so you're playing in your mind the videotapes, aren't you? It's kind of your greatest hits, you know? You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Whoa, that was good. That was you. Okay? Lord, we will go anywhere for you. Other people may deny you, but not me. That was you who said that. Good move. Then there is that one, I swear to God, I never met the man. That's what I'm talking about. Failure is the capacity to one moment do something that is brilliant, and then the next moment do something that is wrong. Out of the same mouth. You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus said, God told you to say that. And then moments later, never, Lord, this will never happen to you. And Jesus said, the devil told you to say that. And you're asking yourself, how is it in moments? I say one thing inspired by God, and then moments later I say something inspired by the devil. And he says, get behind me. How is that possible? Well, that's just Peter. It's pretty easy to distance yourself from Judas because you're not filled with the devil. But Peter is different. And you're more like Peter. And did you know that Peter and Judas have a lot in common? Both of them were told by Jesus at the Lord's Supper they would betray him. Both of their stories occur in all 4 Gospels in the same chapter. Peter and Judas have an awful lot in common. The question is not why did Judas hang himself? He should have. The question is why didn't Peter? Because it was just as bad for him. So let's assume on this morning you go fishing. And that's all you know how to do. And while you're out there fishing, this lone figure appears on the beach. You can't make out who it is. It's about 100 yards away. And he yells out to you. He does not say, hey, have you caught any fish? No, that's what the NIV says. That's wrong. What the Greek says is, hey, you haven't caught any fish, have you? It's a rhetorical statement. It's not, hey, have you caught any? Hey, you haven't caught anything, have you? And you're wondering, how is it that a guy a football field away would know this, and what business it is of his does not cross your mind? Before you can stop it, he says, cast your nets on the what? Other side of the boat. And you're asking yourself, wait a minute, dude, you're 100 yards away. How do you know where the fish are? But you're desperate. Been all night, haven't caught a thing. So you cast the nets on the other side of the boat, and the second they hit the water, you feel the old familiar drag. And you start to pull them things in. And that's when somebody looks up and they see the figure. There's a flashback right here. There's a flashback. You're Peter. You're asking yourself, wait a second, this has happened once before. It's in Luke chapter 5. I remember being pushed off and this guy did. You don't suppose. And that's when John says what? It's the Lord. But see, John, he's weak. He doesn't do anything. You go, yeah, and you bolt. It's like you know, you're the first guy over the thing, and you start swimming or dog paddling into the sea. And when you get to the shore, there is Jesus, and there's a fire there. And he's already got bread, and he's got fish, and they're on the fire. It's a flashback. You're thinking to yourself, wait a second, I've seen that fire before. Because according to John 21, it was a charcoal fire. John tells us 2 chapters earlier it was around a charcoal fire where you were warming your hands when the woman said, you look like one of his disciples. It was around the fire where you said, No, I swear to God, I don't know the man. And it almost starts to feel to you as if Jesus is recreating the scene and then asking you to step into it. That is the last place you want to go. When you get up to the shore, he turns to you and he says, hey, tell your friends to come, here's the line, and bring some of the fish you caught. No. It's more like some of the fish I caught, you know? Any fishermen here? Yeah, all right. Fishermen know this thing. You never confuse who caught the fish. Well, how many did you guys catch? Oh, I can't really remember, because that's the spiritual thing to do. But inside you're thinking, 7, 4. And so he says, bring some of the fish that you caught. And this is a cool part of the story. Because in the New Testament culture, having a meal with somebody was a way of inviting them into your life. It's not like America today. Hey, want to go get something to eat? No, because we have lots of meals with lots of people we don't know. But back in that day, food was scarce. And so you didn't have food. You didn't share your food with people that you didn't want to have food with. And so when you said to somebody, come on in, sit down, and let's have a meal together, man, you were saying to other people, this is my friend. I'm in fellowship with this person. This is why Jesus was accused of eating with tax collectors and sinners. You're thinking, so what? But in that culture, if a meal means friendship, that's a big deal. It's why Jesus said to Zacchaeus, come on down, I'm going to your house. See what I mean? It's why Jesus shares his last meal with the disciples. And what he says in the gospel is, the one who will betray me is the one whose hand is at my table. Hear the language? He's saying, it is someone who's supposed to be a brother. Meals mean brotherhood. And this person is using a meal to distance themselves. And Jesus is now inviting you to a meal on the table. He's telling you to bring some of the stuff that you have, even though he doesn't need it, because he's already got the fire going and the fish is about done. He says to you, bring what you have and put it together with what I have, and we will make something better yet. Bob Benson talks about being a college student and bringing his bologna sandwich to church for a potluck. And he said families used to say to him, oh, just come on, we'll throw all the food together, you know. And he said they had like chicken and sweet potatoes and fresh baked rolls. And they would say, no, it's no big deal. Just put your bologna sandwich next to mine and we'll just sort of all share, only nobody ate my sandwich. That's what Jesus is doing to you. You've just had your Fred Merkel worst day of your life. And Jesus is inviting you to get into something that he is already doing. And together you'll do something even better. And that's when he pops the question. Do you love me? How many times does he say that? 3 times. And sometimes we say, I know what he's doing. He's given Peter 3 mulligans. You know? 3 do-overs. There is definitely something to that. Sometimes people say he's doing it because he's changing the language of the Greek. You know, agape, there's an eros, and that's probably not true. John does that in other places. Here's why I think he's doing it, okay? My reason is more, it's more sophisticated, more high-tech, it's more boring, and therefore more scholarly than anything else. I think he asked Peter, do you love me? Because he wants to know. And you're like, whoa, they didn't pay you to come up with that?